Hi, I am Joe, an artificially generated newscaster. And here are some notable stories that happened in the cyber world last week. Let's start with probably the highest profile hack of the week. Microsoft admitted that some teams' accounts had been compromised after targeted phishing attacks. Up to 40 organizations around the world are believed to be affected, including governments, NGOs, as well as manufacturing and media companies. Microsoft described the campaign as a large-scale espionage effort conducted by a hacker group Midnight Blizzard. Previously known as Noblium and Cozy Bear, it is believed to be tied to Russian intelligence services. Cozy Bear is mostly known for the SolarWinds hack of 2020, which targeted governments around the world and also involved Microsoft exploits. Let's move to another hack of epic proportions, MOVEit. Yet more victims were added to the list, which now includes Radisson Hotels, Discovery, and Honeywell, among dozens of smaller firms. Clop, the Russian cyber gang behind the attack, said that it published the data of 56 hacker organizations, which is around 10% of all organizations that admitted being compromised. Widely believed to be the largest cyber blunder of recent years, the hack involved Clop exploiting a flaw in MOVEit file transfer system and getting its hands of terabytes of data, possibly belonging to thousands of companies, governments, and other entities. By the way, recently Clop was seen engaging in some unusual extortion techniques. First, they began posting the stolen data on the clear web, trying to reach more people and build pressure on the victims. Then they also started sharing those files through torrents, which is arguably safer and harder to track down. The idea is to make the sensitive data of some organizations as accessible as possible, so that others would pay up to avoid their data being leaked. Usually such data is being shared on the dark web, but Clop probably decided it wasn't shared widely enough. This wasn't the limit of Clop's activities. Rather than sleeping on its laurels, the gang continues conducting other hacks. Last week it published 40 gigabytes of data belonging to CareSource, one of the largest healthcare providers in the US. The data includes names, addresses, dates of birth, emails, and phone numbers of CareSource customers. It is also believed to include their healthcare information. Most likely, CareSource denied the request to pay ransom after its data was stolen, which is quite common for companies that face such extortion. Unfortunately, there are still enough people willing to pay hackers, so they continue profiting on people's misery. Now let's briefly visit the front lines of the cyber war. The Japanese government's Cybersecurity Center recently said that its email system, provided by an American company, has been hacked. The center said it suspects that the attack is most likely perpetrated by the UNC 4841, a China-linked threat actor which has been performing similar data breaches for years. For example, this June the same hackers breached Barracuda email security gateway, targeting companies and organizations across the world and exfiltrating tons of sensitive emails. And now for something completely different. Flipper Zero, a popular hacking tool which has constantly been in the headlines for the past year, apparently attracted a lot of attention from the government. The American police said it is seriously concerned that the gadget can be used by various extremists to perform violent acts of terrorism, for example by accessing and attacking the power grid and other infrastructure. According to the police, they are closely monitoring chatter on various far-right extremist forums, and people there have been overly excited about Flipper and its potential to cause damage. To be fair, the abilities of this small tool are fairly limited, and the security of crucial infrastructure objects, at least in theory, is far beyond its capabilities. However, some older and less sophisticated safety systems still may be vulnerable, which is a serious cause for concern. And now onto a hack with, possibly, even more severe consequences. Last week, the research team at Cybernews discovered that the webpage of Everlast, a popular sports equipment brand, contained a skimmer, a program that recorded the information of everybody who bought items through Everlast's web store. The skimmer was most likely installed during a cyber attack and remained unnoticed by the company. It likely remained there for months, and there might be thousands of customers who inadvertently gave the hackers their full credit card information. The worst of all, Everlast ignored all of our attempts to contact them. As this episode is being generated, the skimmer is still out there, hoarding credit cards of everybody who shops at Everlast store. By the way, I have a full video on this and many other news stories from this week. Links are in the description, check them out. See you in the next one.